Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good time, depending on the time zone you are in. My name is Harrison Weda from Training Center in Communication in charge of programs. So welcome for today. Today is the day that we want to give a brief and comprehensive overview of the entire year training capacity building on research and research dissemination. And these are the tools that you've been taught over time from different institutions across Africa, touching on research discovery or the process for literature review to publication itself. So thank you so much for making time for this training. And I would like to welcome Ms. Mulaku, who has been the key program officer in charge of this docket, to take us through and welcome the trainers and take us also welcome our partners from PSCN. That is Andrew. I can see Andrew in. I can see from I think it's Sila, but then Nicole, you can acknowledge the trainers and the stakeholders that we brought on board to share their experience in research, the whole research ecosystem. So thank you and welcome, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Mr. Weda, for that introduction. To those who we have not interacted, my name is Nicole Mulaku. I'm the program officer in charge of the libraries and consortia, and it's exciting to have you all join again. We have had most of you throughout the year, and today is just to gauge your understanding and a platform for you to ask questions on areas you may not have full comprehension. We have prepared for you wonderful speakers with us. We have a presentation from Sila, we have presentation from Scholasi, we have dimensions, and we have a guest speaker from PSC and the Royal Society of Chemistry. And before we go any further, I'd like to welcome Ms. Joy Owango, who is the Executive Director of the Training Center in Communication. And she's just going to give a brief introduction and just highlight her areas, and then we can go on from there. Ms. Joy.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mulaku. Hello, everybody. Unfortunately, I cannot switch on my video. I'm in a place where it's not very video friendly. But thank you so much for making it for today's end year webinar. And this is a culmination of a series of monthly and sometimes more than that trainings that we've been offering on various open access research solutions that can aid in improving your research output and also in increasing your visibility. And this would not have been possible without our partners, some of them who are here. And what we've been doing is pretty much targeting early career researchers. And these solutions have been very helpful. And beyond that, is providing the research capacity support post-training in making sure that you effectively use these open access solutions in improving your research output. We thank you so much for your commitment in taking part in all our workshops. As I said, this has been a monthly and sometimes more than that taking place beginning January, and the last one will be this month. And we intend to continue supporting you in the subsequent years, and also either at a national level or at an institutional level. So thank you so much for your commitment and your support. And as I always say, if you're a member of the TCC community, you have access to these trainings and recordings through our community Slack or WhatsApp groups. So thank you so much. And I hope you are able to learn something new for those who are joining this for the first time, or refreshing yourself for those who are coming in for the umpteenth time. And I hope our partners are going to be able to provide the support that you are looking for in improving your research output and increasing the dissemination of your work. And if you're going through your master's or PhD program, We look forward to seeing your success stories. We've been seeing a lot of them this year. So we look forward to seeing your success stories in either publishing or even graduating. Thank you so much. Goodbye for now.
Thank
So
you,
thank-
Ms. Joy, for that. Yes, Mr. Eda, go on.
I wanted to say thank you, Joy, and just to bring to Joy attention that today there are two new solutions that are going to be shared in overview. So Joy, maybe you can talk about the PSCN and the organization from SILA.
I believe she has stepped out already because she was going to another engagement.
It's okay. So thank you, everyone. I think Andrew, feel at home, you'll share, and as well as the other colleague, Nicole, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you once again, and welcome to our speakers. To Sam and Andrew, this is your first engagement in this session, so feel free to ask any questions or any queries that you may have in the course. Available throughout to assist you. So just a bit of house rules before I continue. Let's switch off our videos and mute our mics. If you have a question, just raise your hand or just drop it in the chat and we will address that. And feel free to also introduce one another in the chat so that you can also get to know one another, and inevitably you'll be able to assist one another in future in terms of doing projects. So it's also a good avenue. And also additional to that this session is being recorded. So you will all get the recording of this session afterwards, and you will get the respective links to the WhatsApp group, the TCC community WhatsApp group, and any other link that will be shared in the chat. I will make sure to have sharing it with you via email. So kindly take note of that. So we go straight ahead to our first presentation from Sam, who is from SILA. SILA is a new initiative that was started by 4 founders, and Sam is one of the founders. And their main focus is on higher education and how to help the higher education sector based on their analysis of what they found in their studies in the areas of concern in terms of higher education, and in terms of the key areas that they're focusing on. So I wouldn't want to go further than that. I'd like to welcome Sam and take us through SILA and understand it better. Feel free to ask questions about it. It's a new initiative, so your input to them is very helpful as they're developing their system. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction. And it's an honor to speak. Just to clarify, Nicole, do you want me to switch off my camera when I present or switch it on?
You can switch it on, please.
Okay. Then, hi, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, I will start sharing my screen, I think. Yes. I hope you're able to see this.
Yes, you can see it.
Okay, perfect. So thanks everyone that you have joined the webinar. It's an honor to speak here on behalf of SILA. And Nicole, you briefly described already, but we're here to help basically higher education to allow in the end open and affordable education for all. But to explain a little bit better, what we're trying to do is we really team up with universities and faculty, enabling them to adopt open and affordable educational resources tailored to their syllabi within minutes. So through our platform, you are able to really build your unique teaching experience only using open and affordable resources. So to explain that a little bit more, because maybe that's still a little vague, let's see if I can go to the next one. What is an open and affordable educational resource? So to bring us back into history a little is, I think 20 years ago, the only opportunity you had buying educational resources was with the big publishers that you also know nowadays. That were all printed books, obviously, and they all needed to be paid for. But then internet came into life, and that really brought the opportunity to also create your own textbooks, basically. So there has been a trend for, I think, in research, it's even longer than in education, but for 10 years now that a lot of open educational resources are created by really specific professors or instructors themselves. So what they do, they mostly get a grant from a university or a press to put in an amount of time, just amount of time to create and own, for example, economics textbook. So they create it and they will then really publish it together with an open publisher with a license to give that book to the world, basically. So that specific book costs nothing. It's open. You will have all different licenses. So some you're even allowed to take and to change. That's the CC BY license. Other ones you're only able to get for free and give to your students, basically, but not to sell or something. So there are all different licenses, but those open educational resources have been created for more than a decade now. And they are now at the point that we think that you can really switch from your commercial resources to really the open educational resources. And that's also why we started Scylla. We saw that a lot of OERs were created. So there were a lot of grants given, for example, to a professor in Australia, for example, in Africa, for example, in Europe, to create an open educational resource. But they might just be making the same book, right? So what we see in the industry is that a lot has been made, but the uptake of really adopting those open educational resources and really finding them, then tailor them to the specific course you're teaching is lacking a little. So that's what we are trying to do. We're really trying to get in all the open educational resources in our database. Through AI, we're able to really parse them and scan them by the page per subchapter, chapter, and entire book to really see what the contents are and what they have, to later really match them to your module or course that you're teaching. So that's basically what we are doing. And the open and affordable education resource community is growing and is also sometimes making ancillary materials. So for example, exercises, slides, and everything you will need to really teach. So yeah, that's basically what open and affordable educational resources are a bit. Then to maybe, let's see, give you a little bit background of where Scylla now is. So we started working together with Coventry University in the United Kingdom and Utrecht University in the Netherlands and it was over a year ago by now. And what we really saw is how can we grow the use of open access, OA, or open educational resources amongst their faculty. So that was the first question we had, and we developed this product together with them. So really together with the library team of Coventry and together with the library team of Utrecht, we really saw that there was an opportunity for this, but now a year prior to this, we really have the product and we're testing with multiple bigger institutions in the UK, in Australia, and the Netherlands already to see if we really can scale this up. So maybe to show you a little bit on what we are doing. First of all, what we do is we start with a reading list analysis. So what we do together with the library staff, we start a conversation, and then what we ask to them is provide us your reading list, your current commercial reading list. So the current commercial reading list is everything that either the library buys or the students need to buy themselves. So it's all textbooks, all ancillary material that they need to buy. What we need from the library is the ISBN, the resource title, the edition of the specific textbook, and the publisher that published it. What we can do with that is we can give a really extensive reading list report on the opportunity for all those commercial materials to be replaced with OERs, with open educational free materials. So I can show you, if this works, a brief overview about an analysis that we already did. So for example, we analyzed 1,129 resources for a specific university in the UK. What we saw that when we matched those to our database, for 254, we did not have a suitable replacement in our database. But for 875, so 77.5%, we think there is a suitable OER for them to investigate if it could replace the commercial one. So as well, at the right-hand side, we just provided some numbers. These are not actuals, but just something to show. For example, if an average resource price will be £13 and an average student in a year needs to buy 6 specific resources, and there are 15,000 resources, this is the percentage, then it's almost £1 million that they are potentially able to save. So this is just a diagram on how much of their resources is able to be transformed potentially into OERs. And this, we can also break this down at the school level. So for example, university mostly has a school of business, a school of nursery, a school of biology, and so on. So really able to show on a school level where the potential flips could be made. We can also show it on a course level, so really on a course level, even deeper. And we can also show it on a publisher level. So for example, here you're able to see that for this specific Pearson, for all the Pearson books, we have a lot of replacements in our database. Also to show you how we do this is that we really do this on a book and chapter level. So this is the input, an ISBN, course title, a publisher, and an edition. And then we really show, is it true? Why is it true? Okay, the total book has 12 chapters in it. We're able to really flip 9 of those. So we feel kind of comfortable flipping these. We actually also transform this book into those chapters. So we show here the book title, the entire amount of chapters, and we really go by if we are able to flip it by the chapter. So this chapter could be flipped. And so we come to the presentation of this. What this helps you do is it really creates a strategy to start adopting the OERs. We already know where faculty has something really interesting to look for because we know the OER is in our database. So the library and the faculty can then really come to our tool. And that's this. What I just forgot is, please feel free to ask questions during my presentation. I need to run at 15 after the hour, but please feel free to jump in if you have any questions. But after we did this analysis and we came up with the OER strategy to really start adopting those, we're also able to invite faculty to the tool. So faculty will then come to the tool, be invited, and what you can see here is a little bit more than a faculty member could see because I'm in the admin view right now. But what you can do is just add a course. It's a really easy 4 steps plan to add your own course that you currently have into our tool. So we can also pre-ingest it. That's also an opportunity. If you send just the course manual, we are able to ingest this for you, but you're also able to do it yourselves. So from your course guide, you're just need to type in your course title, the code, the year, description, institution. And here you need to type in your learning outcomes and your weekly set of topics. So only those 3 things that normally always will be on a course guide need to be inputted into Scylla. What you get afterwards, if you save it, is a course overview page. So for example, we'll take this one, business economics. So this is the inputs that a faculty member has already done. Business economics, this is the code, this is the university, this is the year and the level, the description, these are the learning outcomes, and these are the weekly set of topics. So what you can do then, and I need to swipe this a little bit down, yeah, is only type click the button discover resources. And what this will do is it will take everything on the previous page and it will enhance it a little with a large language model and really make it ready for us to match that semantically to our OER database. So from the previous input, everything you're teaching, your entire course guide, we're able to match specific OERs that match that course guides really, really greatly. And we have two options to look for. So the first one is a course overview, and this is really trying to find one really good OER textbook matching your entire course. So for example, we are here recommending 5 different entire textbooks. We mostly try to keep this number a little bit low and not overwhelm the user like Google with more than 1 million results. So for example, this is a book. It's called Principles of Economics. The author is from the University of Minnesota, anonymous. This is the publisher, University of Minnesota Libraries, and this is the license. So it's really licensed. It is published by an open publisher, and you can directly view the PDF to see if this suits your course well. So I don't have the best internet yet, but it is loading. To show that it will directly open the PDF file right here. And this is a rather big book, a large book, and you can also go to the other one. So this one is from OpenStax, that's well known, and you can also, this one is already saved, add it to your list. So then it's added to your list. You can remove something from your list to check this in a later stage. And then you can just go out. Where we are even more enthusiastic about is really searching on a topical level. So what we're able to do is maybe you already have one specific OER you're using or textbook that you use, but you're only searching for specific new OERs for a specific topic. So what we now did is we are not looking into the entire course, but just per weekly topic. So a specific weekly topic can be cost analysis, for example. So what we're doing then is we're really taking the input of only the topical level to search for the OERs. And what we now basically do, this is the same book as before, but we're now recommending a specific chapter. So we're really trying to see if a specific chapter really matches this topic well. We're also showing a little bit more metadata. So for example, the reading time of this specific chapter and obviously the book name. And you can again view it, and then it will bring you directly to the specific chapter in the book. So you can investigate if this suits the specific topic rather than scrolling down the entire book. If something is suitable, it directly brings you to the right chapter. And a little bit below, I need to swipe this one. Maybe a little bit here. You only also see an explainer button. And what this tries to do is directly summarize this chapter for you. So we try to make it as easy as possible for faculty to investigate this and see if this suits their specific course guide. So this is with a large language model created summary of the specific recommended chapter and a relevance score here down. How good we think this specific chapter matches this topic. So relevance score of 85%, and we also try to explain why this is how it is. We try to recommend a little bit more chapters, possibly 10. So these are from different books, and we always recommend a chapter on a topical level. So these are just ready for investigating them, adding them to their list, and so you can create your new reading list based on only the usage of OER free materials. So that's it for the tool. And how does this truly help libraries, faculty, and students? Now, if you are able to leverage open access and open educational resources, you can rapidly reduce your expenditures, so you can save a lot of cost. If this will be for the library or if it will be for the student, depends on how your how you will have it in your specific institution. And we're able to help faculty create their curricula much more easy and quickly, just based around their course guide or their specific wish on how they want to teach. So save a lot of time during the creation of your course or the search for materials, basically. And students, we really try to help students to remove financial barriers to education, which I think you're also doing with this specific topic in the webinar. So really happy to have been able to speak here. And the most of the OERs are free and unrestricted to really bring into the classroom. So we also already have the Coventry case study right here. We're now working with Coventry, Utrecht University, and more than 10 pilots are now happening. So yeah, that's a little bit about Scylla, and I would love to answer your questions.
Thank you, Sam. I think there's a question for you. Someone is asking if it's free to sign up.
Good question. Yeah, in the beginning, it is absolutely free. What we do in the beginning and what our workflow a little is that we are starting working together with the library leadership team to really do the reading list analysis to see what the impact of OERs can be for your specific institution. So that's totally free. We mostly do that in 1 month, and we also familiarize the library staff with the tool. So really onboarding them, giving them the opportunity to test the tool with 5 courses to flip 5 courses basically. And afterwards, we are not really sure, but because we really want also to help the African community and to lower the barrier to costs for the institution, but also for the students. So afterwards, normally in the UK, then they will start to pay. But for this specific collaboration, we're not entirely sure how to also make a little money so we can put in all the hours, but we're not kind of sure yet. But you're able to start off for free, and I think it will be really low cost afterwards, only to be able, for us to put in the time. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, that's a good clarification. I hope the person who asked the question is answered. So thank you, Sam. I'll share his email in the chat so that in case anyone has further questions, Sam, you'll get them in your email as well, or in case you drop off, because I know you have another engagement, I will collect the questions for you and then forward them to you. So thank you again, Sam, for the presentation, and now we can go on to the next presentation.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, so now that we are done with Scylla, now we go to the next presentation on Scholastic and dimensions. I know to most of you this is not new. Scholastic is an AI summarizer tool that helps you condense a dense content of articles or publications, and dimensions is a large research database where you can get the articles or publications or whatever you need as reference in terms of your research area or field. So for these presentations, I'd like to welcome Mr. Nicholas Outa, who is going to take us through that. And then feel free to drop your questions in the chat or any comments, and also in regards to Scylla, any questions you have, and then we can go on from there. Mr. Nicholas, please.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you everyone for finding time to join. I know there are people who have been joining these trainings, and it's not the first time we are interacting. If we are interacting for the first time, I am Nicholas Outa. I am a research capacity advisor at the Training Center in Communication, that is TCC Africa. So basically we train, support and empower scholars on all issues, scientific writing and communication, and publication and communication basically. I am also a researcher, and my PhD is on aquaponics. So my background is fisheries and aquaculture, and I'm also a limnologist by training. So basically, those are the few things that I can say about myself for those who are interacting with me for the first time. So I will start by presenting on dimensions, then we will transition to scholarship. I know on the program, we should start with scholarship and then transition to dimensions, but I want to do it that way because I want us to know where to get the papers first, and then we know how then to summarize them. I think it's better that way than starting with how to summarize the papers. Then we go back to how then do you find these papers that you want to summarize. So I thought it wise that we can start by showing people where do you get these resources from? And having gotten them from there, how then do you use Scholastic to summarize and contextualize them for an easy understanding and an easy summary? So I will start by demonstrating how to use dimensions. And maybe as we go through this, maybe in the chat, you can just type for me, where do you get your literature materials from? So as you are writing your thesis or writing your research proposal, or as you're writing your papers, manuscripts for publication, where do you always go for papers from? And what challenges do you meet when looking for papers? That would be a very good thing for us to have a discussion even after this presentation. So where do you get papers from? And also, what challenges do you face? The other thing is, there are people in this audience who are maybe not scholars, but they are interacting with scholars, either as university managers or research managers and people in management. Sometimes the scholars you work with want to be part of consortia. So they want to be part of, they want to know people they can collaborate with when writing proposals or when bidding for consultancies. And then they don't know where then can they get similar projects or get information about people or universities or colleges or research institutions that are conducting similar research in their field. So that becomes a bit of a challenge because then it's not very easy for you to know the people you can approach. You are writing something on aquaponics, for example, you are writing something on food insecurity in your country, a project. But then you say, okay, I think this can only make sense if we have, maybe a collaborator from Uganda, or we have a collaborator from Gambia or from Kenya. But then how do I get collaborators who have done something close to this in that specific country? So those are some of the things that I want to show you because Dimensions has all that. The other thing is, if you want to look at policy documents, so maybe you are interested in policy, how does research influence policy and what are the policies that are already out there in a specific field? Then you want to look at policy documents. Where do you get these policy documents from? Because if you go on the internet and type anything, then you will find so many results and it might be difficult. It might not be even specific to a country. The other thing is also about clinical trials. You are in the field of medicine, for example, or medical sciences, and you want to see what are the current clinical trials that are presently running in my country or in my specific field of research, and who are the people conducting these clinical trials, and how then can I be part of it? Or you want to register a patent, and you want to be sure what patents are there in my field, how then can I develop something that speaks to what is already there or what is not there? So imagine all this in one place. So I'm just trying to bring this into context so that you get to understand how powerful Dimensions as a tool is. So it goes beyond just giving you papers to read, but it goes into, allowing you to get people you can collaborate with, the other aspects about research and so many other things. So I'll go straight into demonstration so that you get to understand how can you access Dimensions, and having accessed it, how then do you navigate? Up to there, I hope you are clear. So I think right now, as I set up my screen, keep chatting keeps putting it in the chat so that I get to know where do you get your literature from? Maybe where do you download papers from? And what challenges do you meet while trying to get this? And maybe if you are looking at policy papers, for example, or clinical trials or patents or all these things, what challenges do you meet while trying to get even people to collaborate with? I want you to be doing that in the chat as I as I share my screen so that I get to show you how to access. I want to do it like a live demonstration so that it's easier for you now to follow through, and then you can explore further. So I'll just set up my screen, and as I set up my screen, Nicole, please keep your eyes on the chat so that we get to, and also I will expect people to say one or two things here and there so that I don't speak by myself. So if you want to get to access research for, if you want to access, okay, let me just share my screen here. Okay. I'll share this one here. So I was just trying to show you how then do you access dimensions. There are two ways. You can just Google dimensions AI and get into dimensions, but then that is a bit limiting because if you get into dimensions directly by Googling, then you will only be able to access research papers. You will not be able to access all the other aspects of that I've been talking about. But if you want to access all the aspects of dimensions, then you have to access it through Research for Life. I think most African universities and research institutions have access to Research for Life. So go to the librarian in your university, ask them to give you credentials or login credentials for Research for Life so that you are able to sign into Research for Life. Because if you sign into Research for Life and access dimensions through Research for Life, then you are going to access all that I'm going to show you. So that is what I want to bring to your attention. So just go on your once you get the credentials, then just go and type on your browser Research for Life. Then once you access Research for Life, just click the first option that comes. Again, as I said, if you are not able to access it through Research for Life, just go and type dimensions AI, you will still be able to find it. It's only that it will be a bit limited. So once you type Research for Life, then it will bring you to this page, then you should be able to access. So click on access content, then you will be asked to log in. So we'll just log in. I think I am already logged in. So once you log in, go to Research for Life, log in. Once you log in, you click on under contents, then click on databases. So dimensions is a database. So once you log in, click on content, then under content, scroll down and click on databases. So one of the databases that there are several databases on Research for Life, but you are interested on this database that is called dimensions. So I have just clicked under content and I have clicked on databases so that I get to scroll down to dimensions. It's taking a bit of time, but let's just give it, I don't know whether it's because I'm sharing my screen. I'll also just switch off my camera so that, yeah. So as it loads, I can also check what we have on, okay, now it has loaded. So click under content, click on databases, then scroll down. They are arranged alphabetically, so it will be very easy for you to identify dimensions. Then when you reach dimensions, just click on dimensions. And let's see what comes. So when we click on dimensions, we see publications, data sets, grants, patents, clinical trials, and policy documents. Okay? So maybe if one person can unmute and tell me how many publications are you seeing on this database? Just publications alone. Maybe just any person. I don't want to mention a name.
Okay, can I go?
Yes,
150
yes.
million.
Okay, somebody else.
Yeah. Yes, over 150 million. So it means that it's highly unlikely that you will not get something to read. I know people come from very unique fields, but I don't know how unique your field is, that out of 150 million publications, you cannot get something that, that can be useful to you. So I think this is one thing that, this is one of the reasons why I like this site quite a bit. The other thing is we can see we also have data sets. So we have 36 million data sets. We have grant information, 7 million patents, all those things. So imagine you can access all this information. Now, as I said, there is quite a bit that can be done on this site, but I'm going to demonstrate only two things. The others you can go and explore further. I want to start by how then do you navigate around publications? Because most researchers, mostly their worry is about publications, grants, and sometimes about data sets, but mostly it's about publication and grants. So let's start with publications. On the left, you see there are several filters there that you can use just to make your, to make your search more specific. So we can start by publication here. And I want us to go, I just want to demonstrate to you how far back you can go. Imagine we can go back to as far as 1665. So there are publications that are there. They could be some monographs, for example, or some chapters of book chapters that were either scanned and put on here. But then the truth is that we have information as far back as 1665 here. So if you are doing like a literature review, for example, or doing a meta-analysis, then you see you can even go back and check what was done in 1663, what was done in, for example, 1863, sorry. You can go back and look at what was done in 1945, for example, and just try to compare with what you are reading right now and see. So that's one thing I wanted to show you, that you can go as far back as 16-something. Now, let's say we only want papers that were published between specific years. So we just click on those specific years. We want papers that were published between 2025 and 2020. And maybe somebody can tell me, why do we have papers published in 2025 and 2024? Okay, so as we prepare to answer that, you just click on the years that you want, and then you click limit to. So we are limiting our search only to papers that were published between 2020 and 2025. And we are now down from 150 million to 35 million. But as we go on, who can explain to me, why do you think we have papers, already 57,000 papers that were published, that have been published in 2025, and we are still in 2024? Any?
My guess is AI.
Okay, AI. Any other person?
I think they're already accepted and they'll be coming out in the 2025 volumes.
Yes. Thank you. What happens in some journals, they have specific number of volumes that they get per year, or specific number of issues. So you find maybe they have released already all their volumes of their issues for this year, and they have papers that already are ready and they have been accepted. And maybe they are even internally published. So, or they are already been published, but they will be allocated specific issues or volumes next year. So that's why you find papers that were published in 2025. So I'm trying to imagine if you are going to defend your thesis this year, for example, and the external examiner sees that you have published paper, you have cited papers that were published in 2025, and you are still in 2024, and then they start asking questions. It would be a good thing to surprise them. Anyway, I don't want to digress, but so I just wanted to show you, if you want papers that were published between specific years, then you can select those specific years and then you limit to those specific years. Now, that is just one of the many filters. So then we are down to 35,000. Now, let us say that we want to search papers by country, for example. So you can come here and filter by country or by territory. So let us, which country? Let's say, yeah, we can use Ghana. I hope Ghana is represented in the house. Is Ghana represented? If not, then I'll use another country. I'll use Gambia. I saw the Gambia. Is Ghana represented?
Is represented. Yeah, Ghana is here. Ghana is here.
Ghana is represented.
Yes.
Ghana is here.
The Gold Coast. Now, we are limiting to Ghana. So I'm trying to show you just this filter. So we, as I said, we can always also filter by country. Now we are filtered by country. So we have 36,000 papers that were published between 2020 and 2025 in the country of Ghana. Now, you can come back here now and look at, when you click on researcher, then you will see the top 10 researchers in Ghana. Maybe if you see any researcher that you know, but we are looking at the top 10 researchers in Ghana right now. So you are looking at Abdul Aziz Seidu, we are looking at Bright Upoku, Ahinkora, you're looking at Edwin. So I'm just showing you because sometimes you want to see who is that. Maybe there's a specific researcher whose papers you want to look at, and you don't want to go all over the internet. Maybe they are not even active on LinkedIn, on Google Scholar, so you might not be able to find all their papers in one place. But then if you come here and filter by country, you can easily just find who is the most influential researcher in my country. So in Ghana, you see how influential these researchers are. Then we can also go to research organization and see. In Ghana, the university with the highest number of publications is the University of Ghana. And then we have Kwame Nkrumah University, then we have University of Cape Coast. So you see all these universities, we are seeing that this is how they have contributed to the publications from this country between 2020 and 2025. You see, University of Ghana has already almost 10,000 papers. between 2020 and 2025. So the filters that I've used year. I have used research organization. I've also done by country. Then you can also come here and check who is funding research in Ghana. So we have the NSFC, which is funding quite a bit of research. Then Melinda and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have Wellcome Trust, European Commission, World Health Organization. These ones are the funders that are funding research, but then it's arranged in the order in which they contribute. Then we can also come and look at maybe under research categories here. Research categories is a filter you can use if you want information or papers in specific areas of research. So let's say you are only interested in public health, you are only interested in human and society, or are interested in engineering or biological sciences. So you can still come and use this as a filter and make your search even more refined. Then you can look at publication type. Whether you can also search whether you want to only look at articles or you want to look at book chapters, preprints, conference proceedings. We have monographs and seminars. So you can also still use that as a filter. So let's say we only want articles, then you just click that and limit to. Then the source title. This is where these people are publishing their work. So most Ghanaians are publishing in Research Square. Some are publishing in PLOS One. Some are publishing in Scientific African. Then you also want to look at journal lists. So what are the journal lists that they are publishing in? Like, for example, DOAJ, this one is where this is the directory of open access journals. So all the papers that are here are open access. So these are things you can use as filters. Or open access, that you only want papers that are open access. You don't want papers that will be behind paywalls and you're not able to access them. So as you do your search, you can also come and filter and say, okay, I only want open access, and click limit to. Now, once you apply all your filters, then you can just come here on the side and type certain keywords. I'll remove the year, but I'll remove the year. I'll also I'll just remove the filters so that so after you applied all your filters, you can just come and click here and put certain keywords. Which keywords are we putting? What are we interested in? What papers maybe that can be related to what field. But again, I think we can just come here and start by research field so that it also gives us an idea. So field of research, which field of research are we going into now?
Human society.
Human and society. Okay, human society. We click on human society and limit. So it means that now when we do our search, it will be very easy because it's looking at this within human and society. So what keywords are we putting here? Maybe because then it's difficult for us to get a specific until we put certain keywords. What keywords?
Migration.
Migration is maybe a bit too general, but then we can put migration something so that it's a bit more specific. I'm just using that as an example. So I'm talking about illegal migration in Africa. And then we can just hit enter. Then we see what comes up. So we have like 88,000 papers that are talking about illegal migration in Africa. And maybe we can go to a specific country. Let's say I am doing research and I'm interested in those aspects, but related to maybe, let's say, which country? Namibia. So we click that and then we limit to Namibia. Then we see what we have. So we have like 42 papers that are talking about illegal migration in Africa, but then they are related to Namibia. So let's say we have picked on this paper. Then we click on that paper. We click on the paper that you have chosen. The good thing, that's why I'm showing you this. I'm showing you this because once you click on that, dimensions will link you to other papers that were cited in this paper, including those that have cited this paper. But then first things first, you can easily import this paper to Scholastic because I will show you how to use Scholastic. But for now, let's leave it there. Now, once you click on the paper and open it, there is what we call a summary. So Dimensions has given you a summary that might not give you a lot of information about the paper you are reading, but it gives you an idea, just an idea of what to expect in that, or what, a bit of a summary, a very general summary about that paper. Because there it says the research investigates how material deprivation and consumerism influences young people's decision to engage in transactional sex in the urban slums of that in Malawi. It finds that, so it tells you what it is, and then the main finding, and also the main conclusion. So that alone gives you an idea of, maybe this is a paper that contains some things that I want to think about, I want to talk about, I want to hear about, or I want to read about. Or if you still gauge and say, okay, I think from that summary, I really don't think there's a paper I want to read further, then you can look for another paper. Now, that summary, then there's what we call key highlights. Apart from just the summary, then there's what we call key highlights from the paper. So Scholastic, Dimensions also picks like 4 or 5 key highlights. What are the key highlights from the paper? Then also there are what we call top keywords, because these keywords will give you an idea whether this paper has, themes or information related to your field or what you are searching for. So when you when you click on the paper you want, you just click on the summary, you will get a summary, and then you will also click on key highlights to get the general highlights from the paper, so that even as you get to read the paper, you've already gotten the highlights. What are the highlights from this paper? Now, you can, of course, go and read the paper, but you can click on this arrow here. When you click on this arrow, it will lead you to the journal or the website where you can download this paper in full and then put it on Scholastic and summarize it, as I will show you. So this pop-out arrow will take you directly to the website where this paper is published, and you can download it. Okay. For those in the scholarly world, you can see this green padlock on my screen. I hope you know what it is. It's called Unpaywall. So Unpaywall also can help you locate papers that are open access. So when you see it is green, it means that there's somewhere this paper is open access. You can click on that green padlock, and then the paper will be downloaded, or you'll be able to access it. If you see it is gray, it means that the paper is behind a paywall and there's nowhere in the internet where it is open access. Those are part of the things that we train, and so many other tools, but today let's focus on Dimensions. So here you get the summary, you get the key highlights, and also you get the keywords. And then now it also gives you active links to all the citations. So there were 28 citations. So you can easily click and check, okay, maybe this people's paper, because they, since they cited a paper that is very close to what you are studying, it means that maybe there's a higher chance that even these ones are very close. So you can easily also, because the links are active, you can also follow them. But also, you also have publications that have cited the paper that you are reading. I think this is very important because the ones that have cited the paper you are reading have more new information, because they are citing that paper, and it means they have updated, they are providing newer information than what is in the paper they are citing. So you can also look at the publication citation. So 29 people have cited this paper since its publication, and you can easily now also access all this and just check, whether they are related to that or not. So pretty much that is one thing that I wanted to show you how you can use. Now, the others, the other filters are things you can always play around with. The other thing that now I want to show you, after showing you how to use it to get publications, is about grants. And I've just clicked on grants right now, because grants are pretty much projects, basically. So you want to know who is doing what kind of research, in what field, how much are they funded, how long will this project take, and who are the PIs, and maybe in what university or what research institution, and whom are they collaborating? With whom are they collaborating? I think this is very important for researchers and scholars who are really looking out to collaborate and be part of consortia. So what I want to show you here is, if you want to know the programs that are currently running, you just click on grants. And once you click on grants, you can even just say, okay, I want to look for grants that are maybe are active between specific years. So here we have grants that will be active between 2040. Okay. Let's talk about 2025. Yeah. Let's say we only want those that will be active. In fact, I want to use the word active. Yes, active here. So these are papers that you only want information about projects that will be active, let's say between 2020 to 2030. Then you click limit to. So now we are down from over 7 million grants to 434,000 grants that will be active between those years. Okay, so why is it? Okay, 2025, 2026 until 2030. Then you can decide to go to a specific country. You can, let's say we are going to do by country. I'm interested in maybe, let's say, which country here, which country do we use now?
Use Gambia.
Well, okay, we can use the Gambia. So then we limit to Gambia. So we are looking at grants that are in Gambia that will be active between those years. And we are finding that we have 15 grants that will be active between 2025 to 2030 in the Gambia. And we can go ahead and look at who are the researchers here who are really running projects in Gambia. We have Kwani Mohammed, we have all those people. So you can easily reach out. But we also want to see the research organizations that are running some of these projects. So we have MRC unit, the Gambia will be having 4 projects that will be running between 2025 to 2030. University of the Gambia, 3 projects running between 2025 to 2030. Then we have University of Ghana, University of Oxford. Somebody would ask, why is University of Ghana, or why is University of Oxford appearing here? It means that they are doing a lot. They are part of some of these projects that are running in the Gambia. And if you click on any of them, you'll find that there are Gambian universities or research institutions that are part of those projects. Now, after that, then let's say you can pick, you can also go and check and see, okay, I only want in a specific research area. I'm not looking for everything. Maybe mine is education, or I'm very specific about, let's say mine is I'm only interested in projects that are talking about human society. Then you just click limit to. So we are looking at projects that will be running between 2025 and 2030 in Gambia, but those that are related to human society. So let's talk about, for example, agroecological strategies for resilient farming in West Africa. This one will be running between 2023 and 2027. The project is we just click on the project. It's funded by the EU. So if you click here, you see all these are partners. But then let's see the partner in Gambia, because maybe you are in Gambia and you want to approach them and tell them, hey, I saw what you are doing. So who is this researcher? Oh, we are even having a World Agroforestry Center in Kenya as a partner here. So we have the Gambia. Is the Gambia the GM? Hello?
Hello? What is the question? Sorry.
I'm asking, is this GM Gambia? Are you seeing National Agricultural Research Board? Is it, is this Gambia?
Yeah, I suppose the GM means Gambia. But I'm not very much okay with the name National Agriculture.
Okay, so it means, yeah, the only thing I wanted to show here is that if you click on the project of your concern, then you can see all this information. You can see the summary of the project. Then you can also see who is, who are those researchers who are part of this project. Then you see who has funded it. Then the funding details are all here. Then you can also look at similar grants. So there are similar projects maybe elsewhere, but then this also can make a lot of sense, because then you can go and check, okay, what are the similar projects? But then you can also look at resulting publications. So what are the resulting publications out of the proposal or the project that you are looking at? So from there, you can now be able to find people you can always let's say you can collaborate with, because you can easily say, okay, I saw you are doing a project on agroecology. I'm also interested in agroecology, and I saw you are collaborating with so and so. So you already get information. And even if you are not a researcher yourself, you are a librarian, or you are a VC, or somebody in charge of director of research and stuff. You know how to direct your researchers, because they can come to you and tell you, hey, professor or Dr. So and so, we've seen a project proposal that we want to work on, but we are looking for people to collaborate with from Senegal, for example. How do I get them? Then they can easily search here and search by country and find universities in Senegal or universities in Ghana that have been doing or that have done a project that is similar to that. And then you can tell them, okay, based on your experience, we are writing a project on this, and we saw that you are either currently running a project or you've run a project like this in 2015. Is it possible that you can work together? So I think that is one thing that I also wanted to bring to your attention, because then dimensions goes beyond just giving you papers to read. I don't want to say so much about dimensions. Mine is to call upon you to go and explore further, see how powerful dimensions is, and just use other filters. In case there are questions, always reach out to TCC Africa. We will be able to organize either training for you as an institution, or we can just guide you even as a single person if you have any challenges dealing with dimensions. Now, I will go to the next presentation, then we will take now maybe questions at once, because then we shall have seen where to get papers from, and then now we are now talking about how to summarize them. And to introduce the next tool that I want to talk about, which is Dimensions AI, I will do a very short presentation that will take like 5 minutes, and then I will get now into presenting into demonstrations. As I said, there is this tool, AI tool, that is called Scholastic. Now, Scholastic helps you. It's not a writing tool, so I don't want you to think that it is a tool that will help you write your proposals, that it's a tool that will help you write your manuscripts, or it's a tool that will help you write your thesis. No. It is a tool that helps you condense research information and summarize them in a way that is easier for you now to consume, conceptualize, and maybe now modify and find a way of digesting. You sometimes find very complex information. You are reading a very technical paper, and it's difficult for you to find the key findings. It's difficult for you to even figure out the main results. Dimensions helps you with that. So students find approaching complex academic literature easier and less daunting with Scholastic. Now, managing your reading list is more efficient and stress-free with Scholastic's easy organization system, as I will show you. Now, Scholastic's flashcards approachable design helps students to save time and read more. We'll show you this, because then you throw in a paper. This paper is now organized into what we call summary flashcards. Now, these summary flashcards are what then you can now use to get to read the paper without having to read the paper word by word. Enjoy an easy transition from reading to writing with Scholastic's integration with citation managers. So Scholastic can easily be integrated with other citations, but citation managers, and right now, the one that it integrates with seamlessly is Zotero. So you can easily link Scholastic with Zotero, but you can also download all your summary flashcards as BibTeX or as RIS files, and then you can now feed them into any reference manager that you're using, whether Crossref or Mendeley or EndNote or Zotero. So it makes it also very easy. So you can create libraries to easily organize your reading list. So I will show you how to create a library. Then once you create your library, then how then do you onboard? Okay. How then do you bring your papers into those libraries? Now you get to decide just how long your summary length is, plus how many highlights appear in your Scholastic flashcard. So on the right here, we can be able now to decide how do we want to summarize our papers? Do we want to summarize by section, or we just want to summarize the entire paper? How do we want to write? Do we rewrite our summary in third person or first person? I don't know whether that's always there. But then also the summary length, you can decide how long should my summary be? Should it be 400 words, 500 words, 1,000 words? Or you can also say, okay, I want a summary, but I only want 5 Scholastic highlights. So these are the highlights are the key findings. So you can decide, okay, I want 10 highlights, or I want 5, or I just want 2 or 1. Those are settings you can put. Now, Scholastic helped me on my PhD journey by providing useful methods. This is feedback that I can also give, because I have, I'm just writing my, at the tail end of writing my thesis, and I've used Scholastic quite a bit to summarize and also contextualize papers, and it has really given me an easy time. And I would want to encourage you to go and try it out if you've not. So then how do we import papers into Scholastic? You can either drag and drop, you can bring them, you can paste, you can paste text or URL or DOI, but then this has to be, the URL or DOI has to belong to a paper that is open access, because if it is not open access, Scholastic will not access it for you. Scholastic is not going to breach the privacies of, or the policies of a journal and bring you a paper that is hidden behind a paywall. Unless that paper is open access, Scholastic might not be able to bring it. Then you can also import from cloud storage providers like Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive. I will show you all that. And then here is partly what the summary looks like. I will show all that. There's no need of looking at all this, because then I can show you all this. And then there's also what we call the Scholastic extension. So the browser extension, you can easily just add it to your browser, so that as you are reading, if you come through a paper, you are browsing through the internet, and then you've seen a very nice paper, and you want to have a very quick view at that paper, you will just click on the add-in, and then it will summarize that paper for you, even if you don't want to read too deeply. But Scholastic will give you a very quick summary of that paper if you have the browser extension, which is free. You just go and add your extensions and add Scholastic as an extension. Okay, I will now stop this and get into demonstrating how you get into Scholastic, and then how you can use it in your reading. Okay, so I'll share my screen so that you get to see how to access it. Okay, so just go to your browser and type the words Scholastic, as you can see on my screen here. So once you type Scholastic, as you can see on my screen, just click enter. You're going to come here. So Scholastic, knowledge made simple. But then we have what we call article summarizer. Now, the Scholastic that I want to use for demonstration is a premium version. The premium version is not free. You have to pay $4.99, pretty much like $5 per month. And then that allows you now to summarize as many papers as you want. You can even summarize 1,000 papers. There's no limit. You can summarize as many. But if you want to try it out, you can go and try the article summarizer down here, the second option. This one allows you to summarize 3 papers every day. And then, so of course, you have to wait for 24 hours, summarize 3 papers, wait for another 24 hours, summarize another 3 papers. But if you want to summarize a limitless number of papers, then you need to go for the premium version, which is $5. It's $4.99, so it's $5 per month. And you can summarize, and then after you summarize all your papers, you can always export them as Word, and then you have summaries as Word. We'll show you that. Now I'll go straight into this. So you click on the first option. Of course, if you want to try for free, you can go to the second option and then click try for free, and then you'll be able to summarize 3 papers every day. But I want to log in to mine, which is the premium version. So I've just logged in. When you log in, pretty much this is the landing page. So when you log in, you have a landing page, and then you can now create libraries, because I know even on your computers, when you download papers, you keep them in certain folders. You don't just go around throwing papers everywhere, because then it's difficult for you to track where these papers are. So how then do you do this? You create a library. So you can click on create library, then you give it a name. I don't know what name to give this, but let's call it NDA training. So we can call it NDA training, as an example. And now we have a folder called NDA, a library called NDA training. Now within that library, we can also now create folders. So let's say you are doing PhD. You have a folder you have a library that is called PhD work or PhD, for example, or PhD literature. Then within that folder now you can be saying, okay, I want within that library, you can say, okay, now I want to organize them in specific folders that are talking about specific objectives. So you have one objective is talking about water quality, the second objective is fish growth. So then you can also have those folders arranged like that. So every time you download a paper, you put it in a specific folder so that it's easy for you to reach. Okay. But how do you upload papers, or how do you import papers onto Scholastic? Because that is one thing that is important. Otherwise, you will not be able to summarize a paper that is not on this platform. So when you click to import, you can choose files. If you click on this, it will take you to your computer where you will have to choose the file or the files. You can do a batch of up to 64 papers per batch. You can import 64 per batch, and you can even import 1,000. So 64, 64, 64. Then you can just click and upload them. That is one. Or you can drag and drop. That is another one. Then, or you can just paste the DOI. If it's an open access paper, just paste the DOI here. Scholastic will bring it. Or if you have them on some cloud storage somewhere, so you have papers on Google Drive, you have papers on Dropbox, or on OneDrive or Zotero, you can easily just import them. Okay, so those are the several ways through which you can import papers. But you see, you can also search for papers here. When you click on search, you can also just go and search for papers on anything. Let's say we are searching for papers on food security. Okay, this one searches within your library, but I will show you here. Yeah, but for now, what I want to demonstrate mostly is just for you to see how then you can get papers into this. The other way you can get papers into it is by subscribing to RSS feeds. So sometimes you have a specific RSS feed. You can easily put an RSS feed and subscribe to an RSS feed. So that will always be updating your library automatically. So let's say you can create an RSS feed on PubMed. So you go to PubMed. I don't know which screen you are seeing. Are you seeing the PubMed screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so if you are seeing the PubMed screen,
Yes.
then we talk about, let's say, infant diabetes. So let's say that is what is interesting to you. So you can say, okay, I only want people that are talking about infant diabetes, and then you can create an RSS feed. So when you create an RSS feed, it means that when you create, let's say it's create RSS, then we can copy this RSS and bring it to Scholastic. If you bring it, you click on RSS subscription, and then you will now add the RSS here. Okay, let me just go back here. We should be able. Okay, you can only create an RSS feed if you have a folder. So let's say we call it new folder or RSS. Then we create a folder here. So within this folder, we can now add an RSS subscription. So there's an RSS feed that we had taken up, we had copied. We just paste it here, and then we can check the URL if it's working. And then once that is done, then we can always subscribe. I want you to remember that the folder we have created right now, we did not add anything. But the RSS feed will now keep adding papers automatically. You see it has started adding, it's just now putting the other rubrics, but it has started adding papers. So we will come back and find that our folder has papers that have been added just from the RSS feed. So automatically, anytime a paper is added that is linked to infant diabetes, a paper will be added there. Automatically, you don't need to do anything. But also remember the other ways through which you can upload papers. Now, after uploading your papers, we now have your papers on the internet, on Scholastic. And I want to give you an example using this. So we had a folder here that is food security. So all these are the papers that have been uploaded. But now when we upload them here, they are no longer papers now. They are summary flashcards because they have been organized into summaries. So I will show you an example of what a summary flashcard looks like so that you get to understand what I mean when I say it's a summary. Let me just use one of the examples from here. So when you click on one paper, this is what now the summary you will have. Okay, so you don't have to read through the entire paper. And if you come through this, you see we can add notes here, and we can add notes. Maybe as you read the paper, you can be able now to add notes as you read the paper, pick up a few maybe keywords and put them there as your notes. These notes will remain there. They will not disappear. You will have these notes forever. Okay, so they can help you understand even later. When you come down here, when you click on this arrow, it will take you to the original document or the origin of the article. So you can easily also still again download and read if you want. But then we have the title. So if you feel the title maybe is not captured the right way, it can still be edited. But then there are some details that are here, but they have been tucked away so that it does not, how do you say, it does not interfere with your reading. So if you don't need them, they stay tucked. So we have our structured summary. So we have the study background and methods that were used. We have the key findings. So you can even expand this section just to see what were the key findings. Then we have conclusions and implications. Then we have keywords. But then I want you to come here in this summary and click on enhance. There's the enhance button. The enhance button will make you decide how then you want to read this paper. So you say, okay, maybe I'm a skim reader or I'm a general reader. Let's see if we say we are general readers. You want to look at what the summary will look like if you are just a general reader who just wants to get an idea about what this paper is talking about. Let me see if it's a general reader. Yes. So as a general reader, for example, these are what you will get from this paper. So the feeding patterns in low-income households, so it gives you an idea what this study looked at, what the researchers found, for example. And then it goes into, no, I think this one is not arranged the right way. Let me look for another one. I can just check another, maybe, let me just search here. Okay, so let's say I'm looking at this as an example. Maybe this is the paper that I'm reading. I want to see the summary. So the summary starts with a snapshot. So I have a snapshot of the paper, which might not give me a lot of information, but it's a snapshot. So it gives me an idea. Then the key findings, it gives me like 5 key findings from this paper, okay? So it gives me 5 key findings. So if I wanted to read this paper, I don't have to go and start reading word by word. It gives me key findings, but these key findings are also a bit more detailed. So it gives me some key findings. And if I click on this, just go back. So these are the key findings. It starts with a snapshot that gives you a general idea of what the paper is about, gives you key findings. You can just navigate from the left. So it gives you the objectives of this paper, okay? It gives you all the objectives. Then the findings, so these are the findings of the paper that are also summarized. You know, a summary of the results without really having to read maybe things in the results section that are not maybe necessary. Then it also summarizes the conclusion. It also talks about the research design in this case, because this is an aquaponic system. It goes ahead, of course, to give you all those other things. And then now when you come here, you can dig deeper into this paper. So you can ask this paper a question. Summarize for me this paper in 50 words, or, you know, what was the highest value of this recorded, or, you know, what was the methodology that was used, what were the limitations. You can ask this paper anything, and Scholastic will give you that. Then we'll talk about the subjects. For example, we can talk about the study compliance. All that is given here. And all these other things. So basically, Scholastic allows you now to summarize this paper so that you don't have to go and start reading it word by word. Maybe it's a very long paper and it could be a bit complicated. The other thing that now I want to show you is you can also export your summaries. You want to export, you just click one and then you can click select all, and then you can export. The export function is down here. you can export your summaries as Word documents so that it's easier for you now to go and read them when you are offline. Sometimes you are in a place you cannot access internet, but then you still want to read your summaries. So you can export as Word, you can export as Excel, you can export as Markdown, PowerPoint, Zotero, and you can also export as a zip file, or you can export as RIS, because then if you download them as RIS, then these RIS files can be uploaded into any reference management tool, and then you can now use them. So in this case, let's say I don't want to do that because then it will also slow down my computer, but I just want to show you an example of when I exported some, we have exported some in as Word, and then you see, when you export all that, let's say you have 500 papers, you can export them as Word, and then I want to show you what it looks like. So they are called now, when you export them, then we call them literature synthesis. So let's look at the literature synthesis that I exported. So you see, each paper has its own. So this is the first paper. The summary is here, including the references. This is the second paper. Are young and older children, they are representing in the same way. The same a summary from that paper. We have the snapshot. It starts with the snapshot. It goes to key findings. It goes to the objectives. It goes to the results, like that, like that. Then we go to the next paper. If you had 20 papers, you see I have 483 pages. It means that this is a big document that has so many papers. So all those papers have their summaries. So you can just go to each paper, look at the summary. Each paper starts with a snapshot, the key findings, a bit of an introduction, all the results, conclusion, another paper again, snapshot, key findings, another paper, snapshot, key findings, then it goes like that, like that. So the summary is structured in a way that you can now use it as Word. So maybe you are in a place where you cannot access the internet and you say, okay, I can now look at my summaries because they are in Word, or you can even download them as Excel and use them. But the other thing I also showed you is you can download them as RIS files, all your summaries. And then when they are RIS, you can upload them onto any reference manager that you are using, whether Zotero, whether Mendeley, Crossref, or not Crossref, it's called RefWorks, or Zotero, and still, or EndNote, and still you can use them as for citation. I will stop my presentation here so that we have our next presenter, and then we now have a plenary session where we will be addressing any questions that somebody would have. Back to you, Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. It was well explained, and I hope everyone that you've gotten what Nicholas was talking about in Scholastic, dimensions and Scholastic, and feel free to drop in any questions you may have. So now quickly we're going to go over to our last presentation of the day from the Royal Society of Chemistry by Mr. Andrew Shaw, who's going to take us through what he has prepared for us today. I'm just going to give him the platform, and he's going to tell us more about himself and what he's going to talk to us about. Welcome, Mr. Andrew.
Thank you very much, Nicole. I'm just checking that you're able to see my slides.
Yes, we can see them.
Okay, hang on. If I do that, hopefully you're now seeing the full screen.
Not yet.
No. It might take a bit of time. Which one am I sharing? Hang on. Let's try that. Are you seeing the slides now?
Yes, but they're not on slideshow presentation.
Not on slideshow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hang on. Are you seeing now?
No, still the same.
Okay, hang on. Let me stop sharing and I'll try again. Bear with me, everyone. Let's just do that. How's that, Nicole?
Better, thank
Ah,
you.
perfect. Wonderful. Well, good. Still is good morning here in the UK, and good afternoon to everyone else for joining. And thank you, firstly, to TCC Africa for inviting myself and the Royal Society of Chemistry to present here. It's as I think Joy sort of said, and Nicole said, this is a starting a new partnership that the Royal Society of Chemistry is setting up and starting with TCC Africa. So it's a delight to be here, and I hope that what I'm going to present over the next 15 minutes or so will be of interest to you. I know I've got quite a range of individuals here, from researchers to librarians to students to directors of research, etc., and across all of Africa, which is fantastic to be with you all today. So my name is Dr. Andrew Shaw, and I'm the International Engagement Manager at the Royal Society of Chemistry. And my role is very much about working with the international chemistry community to bring everyone together and to see whether the Royal Society of Chemistry can partner with other institutions, bodies, individuals, organizations like TCC Africa to really benefit and to enhance the chemistry community and to bring us all together. And one of those big initiatives that I work on is in the program is known as PACN, which stands for Pan-Africa Chemistry Network. And I will give a bit more detail about that in a couple of slides' time. But firstly, for those a little bit about the Royal Society of Chemistry ourselves. So we are, most importantly, excuse me, there we go, a learned society and not-for-profit organization. So that means that all the money that we make through our various activities is reinvested back into our community, and that's both within the UK but also internationally. And then linked with that, we have a very successful and very large publishing and knowledge business, and I'll talk, and that is particularly where the links come in with the topic of this webinar, which is all around open access and allowing sort of open access resources to really enhance the academic community. We also run a number of events, both in the UK but also around the world. We are importantly a global membership body. We have more than 60,000 members across the world, including in Africa. We campaign for policy, and one of the big policy focuses we have at the moment is around open access and the importance of open access. And I'll come on to our vision for open access and what we believe, particularly within chemistry, but I think more broadly, the importance of open access is. And we also recognise and award chartership and accreditations. We really recognise professional skills for chemists around the world. We are a global community, so our head office is in London, and the main office where I'm sort of based, though not today, I'm working from home, is in Cambridge. But we have offices in the United States, in Germany, in India, and Japan, and in China. And I'll come on to, we also have a physical presence in Kenya. So within Africa particularly, we have more than 800 members in Africa, and we're delighted that those members are sort of set up in sort of local sections and representatives. So we have 4 local sections, one in Tunisia, one in Nigeria, and 2 in South Africa. But we have representatives across the north, south, east, and west of the continent. And these representatives and sections help organize events within the continent. But our main focus of our work in Africa is the Pan-Africa Chemistry Network. And through the PACN, we have 4 hubs, one based in Kenya, in Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Ghana. And in Kenya, I said about we had a physical presence. I'm delighted that our colleague Eric Awas is based at the University of Nairobi in Kenya, very close, actually, in the Department of Chemistry, very close to where TCC Africa is based on the same campus. So as well as being a wonderful partnership sort of across borders, it's also we're very close to TCC Africa, so we're delighted as well. And I should say I'm joined on this call today by my colleague, Dr. Jamal Hassan, who supports me and works with me very closely on managing the events for the PACN. I did want to just sort of say that if we have any chemists in the audience, please do think about joining the RSC as a membership body. We do have membership that takes you from the start of your career as a student, as a master's or a PhD student, all the way through to becoming a lecturer, an academic, and even to a professor. And so I would encourage anyone who is a chemist within this, or chemical engineer, to consider joining the RSC. Focusing though more on to the Pan-Africa Chemistry Network. So this is a network that has been established by the World Society of Chemistry since 2008. And since that time, we've invested over £2.5 million into Africa. And we've done this by ourselves, but also with a number of partners, both in industry, other societies, other organizations, and the government, funders, and universities. And I should say our 4 hubs, one in Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, and Ethiopia, they are all based at key and internationally renowned universities. So in Kenya, we're based at the University of Nairobi. It's Addis Ababa University in Ethiopia. It's KNUST in Ghana, and then it's University of Lagos and University of Ibadan in Nigeria. So we are really basing ourselves at these world-class universities, and they help run our activities locally, but also within the region. Now, the purpose of the PACN is really to promote and to build and to continue a sustainable science base in Africa, to solve both challenges that are local to the country and to the continent, but also to make sure that African knowledge is seen on the global international scale. And we do this by making sure that scientists within Africa have the best access to knowledge, have the best access to equipment, have the best access to skills. But also, really importantly, it's about integrating and ensuring that African voices are part of the global science community. And there's a couple of examples of this in the next couple of slides. So as I said, international collaboration and bringing people together is a real aspect and a key part of what the PACN is trying to achieve, and making sure that African science is visible and is actually a vital part of the research landscape. And we do this through collaboration, both within Africa, so bringing African scientists together, but also bringing international scientists to and with Africa, in particular, said the UK. One such event that we ran was about a month ago now at the University of Nairobi in Kenya, was our PACN Congress. This had more than 200 people from across Africa and wider attend this 3-day meeting. We had 35 African countries come together from all parts of Africa, and even from the diaspora as well. So people who have trained in Africa have then perhaps carried on their careers elsewhere, coming back so they can really sort of inspire and showcase what they're doing. The picture on the top right, I wanted to particularly focus on, and those keen-eyed of you might notice this gentleman here. We're delighted as part of the start of this partnership between RSC and TCC Africa that Mr. Harrison Vader was able to join us on a panel discussion talking about the importance of open access and really understanding the challenges, the situation of open access, but also the opportunity that open access gives, particularly within the African community. So we're delighted that Harrison was able to join us for the start of this partnership. So the idea of this webinar, the focus of this webinar is all about open access and opportunities for open access and systems we've seen with Scholarcy and Dimensions and Scylla. What I'm going to bring is a bit of importance and the opportunities that a publisher such as the Royal Society of Chemistry is doing with regards to open access. So we all know about sort of open science, and open science is around knowledge, but it's also having, as we've seen, knowledge systems being very open, having open science infrastructures, having sharing systems, but also engaging openly with all the different actors and people involved with this. Well, when we think about open knowledge, scientific publications and data are some of the key aspects when we think about open science and particularly open access. So the RSC is a leading publisher. We publish journals, we publish books, we have databases, and we also have magazines. when we think about our journals in particular within chemistry, and I appreciate this is for those of you within chemistry in particular, we have journals across the whole spectrum of chemistry, all covering all areas, both traditionally subscription and hybrid journals to also journals that are open access, both gold and diamond. And I will talk into more detail of those in the coming slides. But what I wanted to really say was that the RSC has had a really strong commitment to open access. And I want to say this as a publisher. Some publishers might take an approach to open access as, oh, we have to keep everything, we need to make money. That's not what the RSC here is doing. The RSC is to try and find a way that's sustainable for us as a not-for-profit charity, but also to allow you as users and researchers to access our work, to make sure that actually that people can make big changes to the planet we live on, to the world we live in. And so the RSC has had a very strong supporter of open access for a long time, about 14 years. Back in 2012, we made our first real sort of introductions to open access by allowing people who subscribed to our journals to then publish some of their research open access. Oh, excuse me. We then made our flagship journal, Chemical Science, open access. I'll come on to more details of that in a couple of slides. And we made the world's largest chemistry journal, RSC Advances, at the time, published more than 13,000 articles. That then became open access back in 2017. And since then, we have expanded our open access journal portfolio. We've introduced new read and publish deals. I'll come on to more details of that. And we have made a commitment to open access, and we are the first major chemistry publisher to do that. Why are we so interested in open access? Well, fundamentally, there are so many great benefits to open access. Speed, getting the research out there as soon as possible to everyone so they can benefit. It's fair. There's an equality aspect to this. Everyone across the world should be able to read high quality research. It increases the visibility and impact. And we've seen through Dimensions and Scholarly, having open access articles available to you means you can use tools like Dimensions and Scholarly to really benefit and to have a great impact into your research. It allows more interdisciplinary collaboration. There's so much fantastic work happening within Africa and other parts of the global south and less developed and middle developed countries. That work should be accessible. That work should be available. But also researchers in countries where finances are just frankly just much lower. That access to the same quality research as we might have here in the UK should be available to people in Africa. And we think that open access, as the RSC, fundamentally is the best way to help chemists exchange knowledge with each other and to help make this planet a better place. So I said about the RSC being very committed to open access. Well, I think this is very clear by our commitment that we released about 2 years ago, just almost to just a month, 2 years and a month ago. We committed that our journal portfolio would become 100% open access, and we aim to achieve that by 2028. So that is by increasing the number of journals that are open access, but also the current journals that are, say, subscription, by flipping them, by converting them to open access. That is our commitment to open access. And we are doing that, and our vision of this open access future is because that will accelerate the pace of innovation and discovery. A wonderful example is unfortunately during the pandemic, but a lot of publishers, any papers that were published that related to COVID-19, to research around COVID-19, were made open access instantly. And that really meant that knowledge was able to be shared quickly, disseminated quickly, so we could really fight the terrible pandemic that happened across the world, and to really make these huge, and to find vaccines, and to find ways of helping people who were succumbing to the COVID-19. And that was an example of where actually open access really can make a massive difference to everyone's lives around the world. So as well as accelerating the pace of innovation, we fundamentally believe that authors should not pay for open access. What we are encouraging libraries, governments, and funders should reinvest the funds they're paying for subscriptions to fund open access, and I'll come into more details of that. And what we believe is that open access fundamentally should equal high quality, really high integrity, but most importantly, transparency. We want to remove barriers for authors so that all authors across the world have the same potential to access and publish research. We are going to transform our subscriptions to open access models. So we're going to convert our community from subscription to open access. So it's the same money that's being spent in one thing being used to support open access. And we want to move away, as I said, from authors paying article processing charges to institutions, to funders paying those. So just a couple of graphics on this. So currently, a lot of libraries pay money to publish or to access journals through subscriptions. So the library pays. Under what is sort of an APC model, an article processing charge, this starts to move, the author starts to pay to publish in journals, particularly with their gold open access. Now, and some journals, such as Chemical Science, which is diamond open access, that's where the RSC has actually made a decision to cover the costs on behalf of the authors. So papers are free to read for everybody. But I said the idea is we move from subscriptions, not all the way through to APC, but it's to this. It is where the money that the library was paying for subscriptions now pays for open access fees where that's appropriate. So the papers are still free to read. It's not the author that has to pay, but the institution and the researcher's library pays. Focusing specifically on Africa and with the RSC, and this is something I really wanted to focus on, and I'm delighted that Nicholas talked about Research for Life in his last presentation, because that's a nice link for me too, that most publishers across all topics, not just science, not just chemistry, across all areas, most publishers, including the RSC, grant free access to subscription journals through Research for Life. So anyone in Africa, with the exception of South Africa, is able to access all of our content, both open access and non-open access subscription content, through a Research for Life subscription. We also at the RSC grant free open access publishing to researchers from almost all countries in Africa, the exception being South Africa. And you can find out more details about Research for Life if you're not aware of it, and how you can access it and get your institution signed up to Research for Life on that website there. I wanted to mention Chemical Science specifically. So this is our flagship. It's our top journal we publish. And as I said, we have made a decision as an organization to keep it free for both authors and for readers. So you don't have to be part of Research for Life. You don't have to pay for anything. You can access all of the papers. And there's over 3,500 papers just in this one journal that is now free to everyone to access through the RSC's system. I've talked about Research for Life. I wanted just to go in a bit more detail here. As you can see, almost all of Africa is covered. The colours don't matter in this sense. And so all RSC content, I'm going to reiterate this, is available to researchers within Africa for free through Research for Life. We find within chemistry, there's not a lot of knowledge of this option. And so part of my work over the last couple of years, working through the Pan-Africa Chemistry Network, has been to promote this opportunity to our chemistry researchers, particularly within Africa, and to make sure that their university is signed up, and to make sure that the chemistry communities realize and the librarians realize that this is an opportunity there. And it might be already existing. It's about spreading the word here, because this is a facility that we offer, as well as many other publishers. South Africa, if we have anyone from South Africa on the call, I wanted just to say you're not, unfortunately, part of Research for Life. However, within the RSC, we do work with a number of universities in South Africa listed here, particularly the consortia, and we've recently agreed a deal with these universities so that you can read and publish our work through open access through your university, and the costs are covered by those universities. So we are working with South Africa as well to make sure they have the best access to our work. We also have waivers. We offer waivers to people where they are unable to pay an APC, perhaps there's no funding. And this is outside of Research for Life in particular. But these waivers are there. So again, it's just another example of how a publisher such as the RSC is really trying to reduce these barriers to open access publishing that are there. So I've talked about our future of the RSC going towards open access. Well, how are we encouraging and how are we making this future happen a reality? Well, most importantly, we are reaching out to our community, engaging with our community. The open access panel discussion we hosted in our PACN Congress is an example of where we're reaching out, hearing from African scientists in particular as to what open access means and the challenges and the barriers, but also the opportunities that it can bring. We're looking as I said, to change our open access models, perhaps moving away from waivers, going back to the universities and librarians so the authors don't have to pay. But most importantly, then working again with our community. And as I said, we are the first open access major chemistry publisher to commit to open access. We're really proud of that. And we think that by this commitment, we show that how valuable open access can be to the world. And we really are inviting and partnering with our stakeholders across the globe to help us achieve this. And this is one of the real ambitions working with TCC Africa for us, is about really showing the opportunities for open access within chemistry, but also wider than that. So I'm going to come to the end of my presentation. I think I'm just about on time. For those of you who are chemists in the audience and want to find out more, if you want to find out more about the Pan-African Chemistry Network, our website is there. We have a LinkedIn group. Please do, if you're interested in joining more, finding out more about the RSC, join our LinkedIn group. And as I said, please do contact myself and my colleague Jamal. I have an email address there if you have any questions. I hope that this is the start of a lovely partnership between PACN and RSC and TCC Africa. And I'll leave it there and say if there are any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. So Nicole, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew, for that wonderful presentation and a very good understanding to the Royal Society of Chemistry and the PACN. And to our participants, I hope that today's presentation has been insightful. All the presentations that have been insightful, and that it has refreshed your mind on some of the things you knew, or if you didn't know, I hope that you've learned something today. And yes, so is there any questions or comments? Now is the time. If you want to ask a question, just raise your hand or a comment, or you can also drop your comments in the chat as well. Thank you, Bruno, for your comments, and do have a lovely weekend as well. Any other comments or questions? We're welcoming any questions that you may have. Mr. Nicholas, there is a question for you in regards to Scholastic. I believe we can take that. Must we paraphrase the summaries before we can add them to our work for Scholastic?
Yes, I think what I said very clearly is that Scholastic is not a writing tool. Scholastic just helps you, get the summaries from the professor that it's easy for you to get what the paper has without having to read word by word. But then what Scholastic does, it just summarizes pretty much directly from the document. So it's not picking information from anywhere else. It's picking it directly from the document. So if you want to use it, if you just copy paste it from Scholastic and put it on your document without paraphrasing, then it means that it has been plagiarized and it's going to be flagged. So what you need to do is, based on the summaries that you shall get, it's up to you now to digest them further and get to interrogate and understand them. The only thing that Scholastic does for you is just gives you a summary so that you don't have to summarize, go through summarizing a 14-page paper, but you still, of course, have to paraphrase. If you just put it the way it is, no, that's going to become a problem.
Thank you. I hope, Godwin, you are answered. Thank you for the comments. Any other question, clarification you may need?
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes, Godwin, go ahead.
Yes, so I think I missed the point where you have where you click to install the Dimensions AI onto the Research for Life. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect.
It might be not feasible for me to go over the presentation again, but then I said once you log into to Research for Life, then you go and click under content. Then when you click on content, then you go down and click on databases. Then when you click on databases, then it will take you down to, you will scroll down and go to dimensions. So log into Research for Life. Once you log into Research for Life, click under content. Once you click on content, you click on database. Once you click on database, scroll down to dimensions because it's arranged alphabetically. So once you click on dimensions, you'll be able to get it.
Okay, that's fine. I think I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sir Nicholas, there's a question on dimensions. There's someone who has said that my institution has excluded dimensions from the Research for Life databases. How do I get the full features if I register as an individual?
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot access Research for Life because there are no individual, there are no individual subscriptions for people. So you have to get in through your university. So once you get in through a university, that's how you will be able to access all the functions. But then if for some reason your university has excluded dimensions as a database, which I highly doubt, you might need to go and check again. But if your university has now excluded dimensions, then you will have to just use dimensions that you just Google directly on Google, and then you'll find, but it's limited. So the only way is access dimensions through Research for Life. So if for some reason your university has said, okay, we are not including dimensions in our library, then that's unfortunate. But for me, I think dimensions should be automatically under databases in Research for Life. I don't think it should be missing if you access it through Research for Life. Kindly just check again and even just confirm with your library.
Thank you. I hope whoever asked the question that it was answered. Thank you for your comments. Any other question as we wind up the session? Okay, so if there are no questions, yes, Elizabeth, do you have a question? I can see you're unmuted. Elizabeth? Okay. So once again, I'd like to thank everyone. Oh, yes.
This is Hadi. I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, how does open access publishing affect the quality and credibility of scholarly research?
Sir Nicholas or Dr. Andrew, anyone can answer that?
I will allow Dr. Andrew to go, and then I will also give it my thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you, Nicholas, and thank you, Hadi, for the question. It's a really good question and a question that we get asked a lot. From our perspective at the Royal Society of Chemistry, open access. Having open access publishing does not affect the quality, in that the scientific rigor that any paper that is published to our journals is totally separate from the financial gain or the financial opportunity that there is to publish a paper. You're fundamentally, more papers you publish, in theory, that brings in more money. That's absolutely, it's a business model. I can completely get that. At the World Society of Chemistry, the scientific analysis and the rigor, the peer review process, all of that kind of aspect before a paper is published is completely separate from the business side of whether the paper is published open access. So when we receive a paper in, our editors will look at the paper and assess it based on its scientific merit and make a decision purely based on what they see in their paper. And those papers that are then accepted for publication, then the author will have made that decision whether to choose to publish behind a subscription in a subscription journal or in an open access journal. If the author in this situation is from an African country and they're using an email address, and we can check that through our system, then they are automatically, once that paper is accepted, given the opportunity to publish their paper open access at no charge. That's what the system brings in, and that's the commitment we have. So in that sense, there are two very different systems. So while the paper is undergoing peer review, there is no the editors have no decision about whether a paper is open access or not. So from our end, we believe that open access can still be very high quality, can still be very credible, and very much is what we believe is the future. I give one example before handing over to Nicholas. So I was the editor. I didn't say this actually. For many years, I was a journal editor for about 10 years, 12 years. In fact, I should have said that in my introduction. My apologies. So I managed the peer review process. I commissioned articles. I talked to authors about our journals and encouraged them to submit. So one of the journals I did work for was RSC Advances, and in the presentation I gave, I was actually responsible for flipping that journal to open access. And one of the core bedrocks when I was doing that, talking with my community, was we will not change our acceptance criteria. We will still accept the same number of papers as we have, and I'm proud to say that in that time that I was editor, since it was pre-open access and then became open access, our rejection rate was 55%, and it was very flat. And actually, I now know the rejection rate has slightly gone up a little bit since it's become open access. So there is one example of how we at the RSC, and we're not alone, but our commitment at the RSC is that the quality standards should be the same regardless of whether it's open access or not. So I hope that answers your question, Hadi, but Nicholas, you might want to add your perspective as well.
Very well, sir, very well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew. And I have also published quite a bit, and I'm also an academic editor with PLOS ONE. And I think one thing that I have realized is, unless you are dealing with a predatory journal, which is also an entirely big debate that I don't want to get into right now, we know what defines a predatory journal and all those things. I think it's something I don't want to, that could be subject for another day. But unless you are dealing with a predatory journal, any journal that is worth its salt and one that takes care of all that goes into scientific publication and also quality checks should not compromise on the quality of the research data or the quality of publication as at the expense of prioritizing the money they make. I know most of this, and they need money to keep the journal running, to do so many other things. But if you're dealing with a journal that is good, that is not predatory, that is not just out there to churn out any junk information that is thrown their way, if you're dealing with a journal that is keen on quality, then open access should not interfere with quality. If anything, I think open access should even enhance quality, because then as somebody publishing the paper in your head, you already know that this is going to reach so many people because it's going to be open access. So I want to put the best that I can because anybody can see it and my name is attached to it. So it means that my reputation is attached to this. So just the feeling that this is going to be open access and it's going to be accessible to almost everyone also should challenge you as an author yourself to make it even better. Because I think quality the quality of the information we are putting out there or the quality of the publication does not rest solely on the shoulders of the publisher. It rests, in fact, it should rest like almost 90 to 80% on the shoulders of whoever who is submitting this paper, because you are the author, your name is on this. The publisher, if for either commission or omission, for some reason something goes unnoticed, people will rarely blame the journal. They will say, okay, I read Nicholas Outa's paper on this, and I think that was not really argued out properly. So I don't think this guy is a good researcher. They might not vilify the journal that much. They will talk about the journal, yes, but not as much as they will talk about you as an individual. So I think the quality, apart from that, the quality relies so much also on you as an author. Before I receive as an editor, for example, before I receive a paper and go through it and just allocate somebody who is going to review it or who is going to edit it further, it should also come from you as a paper that you think is of good quality. So open access should not interfere with the quality of work that is being published. Thank you. That's my thought.
Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope, Heidi, your question was answered.
Yes, of course, indeed, it was. And thank you very much. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. We are so ever grateful. Thank you, and do have a nice weekend.
You too. Thank you for also joining and being here with us today.
Yeah.
Any last question or comment as I close the session? Okay, so if there's none, I just want to thank our presenters of the day, Sam, Mr. Nicholas, Dr. Andrew. Thank you so much for being here and taking your time to guide the participants through your presentations. And I feel that it was quite sufficient and leaves a big room for people to explore and go and understand these things on their own. To our participants, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. I know some of you are not new to these workshops, and we are more than happy to do this over and over again. So feel free, if you'd like us to do this for your institution, feel free to reach out to me via email, and we will gladly facilitate this. Thank you again for all of you being here and for your gracious comments. As I had said earlier, that the session is being recorded, so you're going to get these recordings afterwards once we publish it, and we share it with you and the respective links. So Dr. Andrew, if there's any further information that you'd like me to share with the participants via email, let's say it's a document or the links to respective pages like the LinkedIn or anything else, so feel free to share with me so that I can share it with the participants as well. And yeah, yes, you'll get the recordings via emails for sure. Yes. So thank you again, everyone, for joining, and we hope to see you again next year for our continuous workshops, as we're already in the process of planning for our next year workshops. But thank you, everyone, and do have a lovely day, a lovely weekend, and a lovely holiday. See you all next time.